Hello, beautiful people. My name is Mychal, and this is Twisting in Paradise. I'm very excited to share this class with you and hope you enjoy it. This is brought to you by Interdimension TV, an online yoga and meditation platform. Be sure you click on the subscribe button down below and also click on the link to start your 10-day free trial at interdimensiontv.com. Enjoy the class, enjoy your trial, and have a lovely practice. Hey, welcome to Paradise, Twisting in Paradise. For this 45-minute practice, you'll just need one block and maybe a bottle of water. We're gonna get started off on our backs today, so you can go ahead and find a nice comfortable position. We will TP the knees here, so bring the feet wide. That can be mat width, that can be a little bit wider than mat width. You'll knock the knees in. You'll find a nice comfortable position for the arms. They can be down by your sides with the palms facing the sky. If they're there, take a moment to wrap and roll the shoulders down the back. Otherwise, you can place a hand over the chest, another hand on the belly, and we'll just drop into the breath here. So take these first few moments to get connected with your breath. Notice that it's slowing down just a little bit. Make the transition from your day onto your mat. We'll take a few more deep breaths here together. Trying to fill up as wide as you can on the inhales, belly, rib cage expanding, everything softening on the exhales. And go ahead and take one more full inhale together. And then exhaling out the mouth here. And very slowly, you'll start to bend the knees into the chest. Give them a nice hug and squeeze. If a little bit of movement side to side here feels necessary, go ahead and take that. You can make some circles. If you're making circles, go ahead and take 2 in each direction. And then from there, find some stillness. You'll continue hugging onto the right leg, send the left leg long, flat onto the mat. Go ahead and take a twist with that right leg, dropping it off to the left. Feel free to use your left hand for support on top of the right thigh, or if you'd like to reach the arms out, cactus the right arm, anything that feels available for you here today. And then go ahead and drop back into the breath, just taking a few. It's always a little more constricting breathing into a twist, so still try to find the expansion in the rib cage here. Let the right shoulder soften as you exhale. Go ahead and take one more breath in, take one more breath out. And go ahead and roll back onto the back, giving the knees a nice hug and squeeze. We'll switch sides here. And go ahead, take your time into that transition. Whatever the arms were doing on that first side, you'll find that same thing here on this second side. Let the breath continue to be steady. And go ahead and take one more full inhale. And take one more full exhale. And go ahead and roll flat onto the back. Give the knees a nice hug and squeeze. Go ahead and open up the legs. Take a happy baby here. You can bring the arms inside the legs. You can grab the outer edges of the feet. You could also grab the ankles, whatever's available here. If a little movement side to side feels good, you can add that as well. And then from here, you'll go ahead and release that. Give the knees a nice hug and squeeze into the chest. And find a little bit of momentum rocking up and down the spine, just giving the spine a little massage first. And then slowly let that rock start to settle. You'll continue to come back onto your back. You'll plant the soles of the feet flat into a bridge position. You'll bring the arms down by your side, palms facing the sky. On the next exhale, you'll go ahead and bridge the hips up towards the sky. I'm gonna start to warm up the largest muscles in the body here. So as you're breathing, notice that the heels are driving straight down through your mat. The toes are relaxed, they might even be spread. The facial muscles relax. Slight energy with the heels and the feet drawing back towards the shoulders, towards the tops of the mat. So you really start to turn everything in your posterior on. Very often we do planks to strengthen our core, front planks, side planks, but we don't do enough planking for the glutes here, so you can kind of think of this as a posterior plank. Continue steadying out the breath. We'll be here for a few more inhales and exhales. Continue driving down through the heels, and notice that by pushing further and more firmly into the heels, the hips will naturally extend up a little bit higher. Take one more inhale, and then on the exhale, soften the hips all the way down to the floor. Give the knees a nice hug and squeeze. This time you'll rock up and down into a seat. When you come into your seat, you'll spin the legs around to the left or to the right. We'll come meet in a tabletop position. You'll stack the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. A wider base might feel a little bit better here. You'll take a full inhale coming into cow, arching the tail, arms staying straight, exhaling as you round. We'll stay rounded for a few rounds of breath here. Notice pushing through the hands a little bit more. You're creating even more space between the scapulas, between the shoulder blades. Let the head hang. And then on your next inhale, return to a flat back. We'll come into a spinal balance. Left leg will shift back parallel with the floor. You'll reach the right arm out ahead. And if you need to, you can take a moment, make sure that your left toes are pointed straight down, even that pinky toe. And left shoulder may want to creep up into the ear here, so try and depress that down the back a little bit more. Yeah, awesome job there. Notice you're steady with the breath. Take another inhale, knee to elbow as you exhale, emptying out as you crunch in. Inhale, lengthening out through the limbs. Again, exhaling as you contract. Inhale as you lengthen. You'll keep moving with your breath here for about 8 more repetitions. See if you can get a little more length from fingertip to heel on the inhales, and see how much inwards you can squeeze and contract in the abdominals as you exhale. And notice again, the left shoulder still staying away from the ears. The top of the right foot, if it's pushing into the ground, try and push a little more firmly to create a more of a stable base here. Go ahead and last time, contract and curl in. One more time, inhale, reach out. Keep the limbs as they are. You'll keep the left leg where it's at. Bring your right hand straight down so the shoulder's on top of the wrist. From here, we're gonna move into a modified side plank. So the foot of the left side is gonna come back down in line with the right toes. You'll reach the left arm up towards the sky. And from here, you'll start to soften the right shoulder down the back. Take the first few breaths to kind of stabilize, and then if you feel like you've got a little bit more, go ahead and hover your left leg parallel to the floor. But notice that didn't compensate anything with your breath. If you wanted to, you could still smile here. Yeah, take one more inhale, and then on the exhale, bring the limbs down. Come back into a tabletop position. Move through cat and cow 1 round. And then your next inhale, you'll come back to a flat back, second side. The right leg is gonna come back. Left arm, fingertips are gonna reach ahead. And then you'll just get settled for your first few breaths, just checking in with body position, really lengthening through the limbs, hugging the rib cage inward. Yeah, so there's a little more space in the lower back, and then you'll start moving through it with your breath. Next exhale, you'll contract, bring the knee to the elbow, maybe it touches, and then inhale, lengthen back out like you're pushing through a wall back here, exhaling as you contract. Good, you'll keep moving through some rounds here. Again, thinking about initiating from your midsection, from your core as the knee comes and draws to the elbow. And then just allowing the breath to kind of dictate the speed of the movement here. A little more space, a little more contraction. You'll take a few more rounds here, see how long you can get, and then see how much you can curl inwards. Take one more full round, inhaling, knee to elbow on the exhale. Inhale to re-lengthen, keep the right leg where it's at, bring the left hand and arm down, and then you'll go ahead and smoothly spin into a modified side plank. As you reach the right arm up towards the sky, you can pick a gaze for the eyes. That can be straight out to the side of the room. If there's no problems in the cervical spine, you could even look up straight towards the sky. Notice left shoulder still softening. If you raised it on the first side, you'll go ahead and raise it here. Right leg will come parallel with the floor. Try and stay active with the right ankle, so toes pulling back towards the right kneecap. Notice you can still integrate your breath here. I'll take one more steady inhale, And then bring the limbs down on the exhale. You'll step back to a push-up plank position and then into a downward facing dog. For your first one, if you'd like to pedal it out, go ahead and pedal it out. Find a little bit of stillness in your downward facing dog, really lengthening from fingertips to hips, spreading the fingertips. Go ahead and take one more full inhale, push the hips up and back. Bend the knees as you exhale, look ahead, step or hop to the top of your mat in a forward fold. Feet a little bit wider than hip width. Take an inhale, come up halfway, lengthen the spine, and then exhale to fold. We'll do that one more time. Take an inhale, lengthen, shoulders softening down the back, and then exhale to fold. On the inhale, you'll circle the arms all the way up towards the sky. You might peek up, you might lean back, and then exhale, hands to prayer, the center of the chest. You'll make your way to the top of the mat if you're not already there. We'll meet in mountain pose. I'm taking a few breaths here. And take one more exhale. On the next inhale, you'll circle the arms straight up towards the sky. You'll take a twist to the right on the exhale here. So right arm reaching back, left arm fingertips reaching ahead. And then you might notice that the right hip is gonna wanna peel back a little bit. So do your best here to try and spin that outer right hip straight ahead. So if your two hip points had headlights here, they would be flashing straight ahead as opposed to the side. Notice with the inhales, the spine's getting a little bit longer. And then on the exhales, really emphasizing twisting from the middle of the back, the middle of the spine. You'll take one more exhale here. And then on the inhale, circle the arms back up towards the sky. On the exhale, twisting to the left. Left fingertips reaching back, right fingertips reaching ahead. And if it feels comfortable for your neck, you could look back at your left fingertips. Otherwise, just looking off somewhere towards the left, really spreading through the fingertips, lengthening through the arms, shoulders softening down the back, being mindful of that outer left hip here this time. Take one more exhale, and then on the inhale, circle the arms straight back up towards the sky. Forward fold on the exhale. We'll move through the A's. Take an inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back or hop back if you'd like to. We'll take yourself through a vinyasa, cobra or upward facing dog on the inhale. And then rolling over the toes, downward facing dog on the exhale. Take a few breaths here. Just warming up the body, warming up the spine a little bit for some twists. Warming up for that journey to go to paradise. You guys ready? Yeah. Go ahead, take one more full inhale, hips up and back. Bend the knees, look forward, exhale, step or hop to the top. And inhale, come up halfway. And then folding on the exhale. Circle the arms up towards the sky, breathe in. Hands to prayer on the breath out. Move through the twist, inhale, circling the arms up. And then twisting to the right, exhale. For one breath, inhale, circle the arms back up towards the sky. Exhale, twisting to the left, left fingertips reaching back. Inhale, upward salute. Forward fold on the exhale. We'll continue moving. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, planting the hands, stepping or hopping back. And as you can see, like Jordan did right there, he jumped back to chaturanga, and as he landed, the elbows were at about a 90-degree bend, which was awesome. Great job. Must have some amazing teachers. Go ahead and take one more full inhale here. Push the hips up and back. And then bend the knees, look forward, step or hop to the top. We'll move through one more full round. Inhale halfway, and exhale to fold. Circle the arms up towards the sky. Breathe in, palms to prayer on the breath out. Inhale, circling up. Exhale to the right, you'll twist. Inhale, arms back up towards the sky, twisting to the left on the breath out. Inhale, circle the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step or hop through it. You'll take yourself through a vinyasa. You could also skip it if you would like to as well at any point in time. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. So So adding a little more twisting here to kind of build up to the road we're headed towards. On your next inhale, you'll shift forwards to the top of a push-up plank position. And then one arm at a time, you'll walk down into a forearm plank. Go ahead and bring the feet together so the heels and the big toes touch and connect. And then we're gonna spin onto the outer blade of the left foot here, coming into a left forearm plank, side plank. You'll reach the right arm up towards the sky. If that doesn't feel safe in the right arm, you could bring it down to the top of the hip. Otherwise, you'll reach that arm straight up towards the sky. You'll soften the left shoulder down the back, and you'll make sure that that left shoulder's directly underneath, the left elbow's directly underneath the left shoulder. Sometimes it likes to stick out a little bit more. So if you need to, you can come down to your hips, bring it a little closer down and underneath the shoulder, and then go ahead and pop the hips back up towards the sky. We're gonna start to move through some rotations here, incorporating your breath. So you'll take an inhale, reach up through the right fingertips. On the exhale, you're gonna thread that right arm underneath the left side of the body. You'll follow the hand with the eyes, twisting as you exhale, and then inhaling back up towards the sky. Eyes might follow the hand. Exhale as you reach and twist and rotate. And then inhaling as you come back up. We'll continue moving with your breath. Exhaling on the twist. Inhaling as you lengthen. A few more to go here. Taking an inhale and exhale. One more time, breathe in. And one more time, deepest twist here. You'll inhale, reach that right arm back up towards the sky, and then you'll make yourself back into a forearm plank. Bring the right arm down, spin onto the toes here. You'll go ahead and hold this forearm plank. And try and steady out the breath here before we come onto the other side. Take another full deep inhale. Take another full deep exhale, and then you'll go ahead and connect the feet again. This time you'll spin onto the outer blade of the right foot. You'll stack that right shoulder on top of the right elbow, and then go ahead and reach the left arm up towards the sky. Oh, the beauty of having two sides. We get to do them each. Right on. Go ahead and we'll start to move with your breath here. Inhale, reach up through the left fingertips, and then exhale, start to twist and thread. Inhale, reaching up towards the sky. Exhale, twisting. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, twisting deep on the exhale, trying to find a little more. A few more to go here. Inhaling and exhaling. Last two, inhale and exhale. A little bit deeper on the rotation. One more time. Full inhale. And exhale, deepest twist here. Inhale, reach the left fingertips back up towards the sky, and then very carefully make yourself back into a forearm plank position. One arm, elbow at a time, you'll walk up to the top of a push-up plank position. Take a full inhale in your plank, and then you'll drop the knees wide into a child's pose. Whew. Those two words never sounded so sweet. Go ahead and reconnect to your breath here. So something like that will usually start to make the heart rate move a little bit faster. So here's where you get to kind of normalize that by slowing down your breath. Send some calming thoughts to your mind. Maybe even picture what paradise looks like right now. And maybe it's just being in child's pose. And take your last full round of breath here. Really let go on the exhale. And then very slowly you'll start to crawl yourself back up to the top of a push-up plank position for a moment. Shoulders over the wrists. Integrity in the hips. Take a full inhale. Hips will pike up, downward facing dog on the exhale. Just taking a few deep breaths. Checking in with how the body is feeling now, about 20 minutes or so into the practice. Good. From here, take a full inhale, lengthen the hips towards the sky, bend the knees, look ahead, step or hop to the top. Halfway lift on the inhale, then folding on the exhale. Circle the arms up towards the sky, inhale, and hands to prayer on the exhale. Good. From here, keep the hands in prayer for now, and then go ahead and widen the feet so they'll come about mat width here. You'll point the toes out on a 45-degree angle. And then if you'd like to sit onto a block here, you'll have that nearby. Otherwise, you'll start to sink the hips down and back. Knees will widen, sockets of the hips will widen as you drop down into Malasana. We'll stay here for a few breaths. And try and find a sensation of cobra in the chest, so a little bit of extension, shoulder blades hugging down and in towards the spine, lengthening through the crown of the head. And then from here, you'll bring the left fingertips down just about a half a foot in front of the left toes. You'll reach the right arm up towards the sky. Take a full inhale. Twisting, exhale, opening up a little bit deeper. If you'd like to go ahead and take the bind here, feel free to wrap that left arm back, drop the right arm underneath and around and connect the hands. Otherwise, you could stay with the right arm reaching up towards the sky. If you took the bind, still try and find that extension in the chest here. So take it for one more breath in. Take it for one more breath out, and then you'll release the bind, reach the right arm towards the sky, inhale, right arm will circle down and in front of the right toes on the exhale, the other side. So use that right tricep to lightly press into the inner right thigh, reach the left arm towards the sky. We'll take a breath in, try and get a little bit deeper on the twist on the breath out. And if you took the bind on that first side, you'll go ahead and try and take it here as well. Keeping a nice open heart, a nice open chest. Last exhale here, and then release on the inhale, left arm reaching towards the sky, left arm circling down and in front on the exhale. Hands will come to prayer, and then as smooth as you can, you'll start to rise and ascend with your inhale, standing straight up. And go ahead, take an inhale, circle the arms up towards the sky. Forward fold on the exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Plant the hands, step or hop through it, vinyasa, your version of it, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. From here, take an inhale, reach your right leg up towards the sky. On the exhale, shift forward, right knee to the left elbow as you empty the breath. Good. Inhale, back up towards the sky with the right leg. Exhale from the core, right knee to the left elbow. One more time, take an inhale, reach it up, lengthen through the heel. Exhale to the twist, left elbow. Good. Another inhale to lengthen, and then softly step that right foot through between the hands, top of the mat. Already start to place your right knee over the right ankle, and then go ahead and spin the heel of the left foot down. You'll rise with your breath, a warrior two, reaching the arms out as long as you can, side to side. Personally, the first thing that I remind myself of when I come into a new shape is integrating my breath. So breath being the foundation of movement, whatever movement that might be. So by normalizing the breath, making it nice and steady, you're sending positive signals to your nervous system, which are then sending it to the rest of your body. So notice that you can integrate that first, and then start to tap into the physical body. Is the outer edge of your left foot rooting firmly down? Is the majority of the weight in the right foot in that heel pressing through the floor, the same way it was when we were doing those bridges? And then starting to make your way up the chain, can you engage and strengthen in your left glutes a little bit more? Can you start to involve the right hamstrings by trying to pull and slide your right heel, magnetizing it back towards the left foot? Core staying engaged so the rib cage isn't flaring. Arms reaching out, lengthening from fingertip to fingertip, energy through every single one. Shoulders softening and relaxed down the back, a typical place where we tend to carry stress up in the shoulders. And then notice that you could grow a little bit longer through the crown of the head. Tell yourself something nice. from here, take one more inhale, straighten the right leg on the exhale, setting up for triangle pose. If you'd like to heel toe the feet a little bit closer together, you can do so. Otherwise, keep the same length. Take an inhale, the hips will start to come back. You'll start to reach out through the right fingertips, and then on the exhale, you'll go ahead and come into your version of triangle pose. And you notice we place blocks on the outside of that right leg, that front leg. And that's gonna help to keep your spine over the thigh of the right leg, as opposed to keeping the block on the inside. And then to avoid any hyperextension in that front knee, you'll start to push a little more firmly through the ball of the foot. So think a little more closer towards the toes as opposed to the heels, opening up through that left arm. If you'd like to extend that left arm towards the front of the room here for these last few breaths, feel free to take that. But just like that warrior two, you're spreading and shooting energy out of the fingertips. Take one more exhale where you're at. That left arm will come back up vertical on the inhale. Stay for an exhale. You'll bring the torso back up, stacking the shoulders over the hips on the inhale, and then rebend that right knee into a warrior two. You can take a moment here to adjust the feet. Set in your warrior two, and then we'll move with the breath. Reverse warrior on the inhale, reach back, and then modified side angle on the exhale. So you can modify by placing that right elbow on top of the right thigh. And then if you'd like to bring that right arm down inside of your right foot, feel free to take that variation of it here. Hand can be resting on the floor. If that feels like it's too far away, hand on a block. Integrating the breath. Take one more inhale, and then you'll turn the left palm to face behind you. Exhale, slide that left arm and hand down the backside of the body. And if this is a challenging enough place for you here, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, you can go ahead and take that full bind, bringing the right arm underneath and hooking the fingertips. Still spreading the chest wide. We're gonna make our way up towards paradise to the top of the mat. So you go ahead and start to bring your gaze down, right in line with the right toes, and then take a step or a few steps to bring that left foot up towards the top of your mat. And before you start to come up, whenever I know I'm about to come into a balancing pose, I really try and find a drishti, whether that's on the floor or out ahead of me. So here, try and take a moment to find that, and then with your breath steady rising. And noticing that as you come up, the breath isn't compensated. And one way you know when to kind of back off a little bit and listen to the body is if that is compensated. And then if you feel like you've got the hamstring flexibility, you can play with straightening out the right leg. One day I'll get there. Nice, focusing on the drishti. Tell yourself something nice and get right back into it. You'll hold it for one more inhale, and then on the exhale, slowly start to bring that right foot down. Stay folded, uninterlace the hands, and come into a forward fold, and you parallel the feet here. Take a moment, and then take an inhale, come up to a flat back. Exhale to fold. We'll come into chair pose on the inhale. Sitting nice and deep. And imagining like the tail was reaching back towards a seat, but at the same time, the fingertips and the arms are reaching in the opposite direction on an upward angle. And from here, you'll start to bring the hands to prayer. And then we'll begin to come into it. You'll go ahead and lower the hips a little bit more and start to raise the heels. And then you'll come into a deep twist on the right side. You'll try to wrap the back of the left arm, the tricep, along the outer right thigh. And if you know that side crow is not in your practice, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, you can start to lift the heels slightly and bring the hands down towards the floor. And the fingertips ideally are gonna be about shoulder width here, fingertips in line with one another. And you'll make a little shelf for your right thigh with the elbows and the triceps here. You'll start to look forward and shift forwards, hugging inwards with your core, noticing that you can still breathe. Elbows hugging inwards as well. You'll go ahead and stay here for one more breath in, and then softly landing the feet on the exhale. We'll meet back in prayer, chair prayer hands. Good. Take one more breath out, and then on the inhale, circle the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Take an inhale, come up halfway. Plant the hands, step or hop through it. Vinyasa, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Settle for a breath, and then we'll move into the other side here. Take an inhale, reach the left leg up towards the sky. On the exhale, cross it to the right elbow. Inhale, reaching it back up. Exhale, crossing and twisting. Inhale, reach it up towards the sky one more time. Take an exhale, cross and twist. Inhale, lengthen through the left leg, and then softly step it through between the hands. You'll spin that right heel flat, warrior two on the inhale. Breath still moving nice and fluidly through the body. Trying to breathe into every cell here, the toes, the fingertips, and everything in between. Eyes focused, looking straight out over the left fingertips. Now go ahead and take one more full inhale. Keep the arms as they are. Straighten the left leg on the exhale, setting up for triangle pose. Again, if you'd like to shift the feet a little bit closer, take a moment to do so. And then on the inhale, start to reach out for the wall in front of you. Hips go back, and then exhale, coming into a triangle pose. And same kind of thing like that twist we took through the A's. The inhale is lengthening the spine from the sacrum all the way up through the crown of the head. On the exhale, you're emphasizing twisting in the mid-back here. Find a nice place for the eyes. If you'd like to extend, and you did extend on that first side, go ahead and extend that right arm towards the front of the room, palm turning to face downwards. And now try breathing into the whole right side of your body here. Take one more exhale. On your inhale, you'll rise the torso back up, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Stay for a moment, and then rebending the left knee, coming into warrior two here. And then you'll go ahead and flip that left palm to face towards the sky. Take an inhale, reach back, reverse your warrior, and you'll stay here for a few rounds of breath. Noticing that bend in the left knee stay the same as it was in warrior two. Now breathing and lengthening the whole left side of the body here. We'll take one more exhale, and then warrior two on the inhale, reaching out through the fingertips. And then we'll move with the breath. Inhale, reach back, reverse. Exhale, modified side angle. Now, if you brought your right arm down on that first side here, you'll bring the left arm down inside of your left foot, hands either on the floor or a block. Right fingertips reaching up towards the sky. And then if you're starting to feel a little strain in the mid or lower back here, think about contracting in the front side of the abdominals a little bit more so you can create a little more space in the lower back, mid-back region. And then from here, you'll take another inhale, reach up through the right fingertips, turn the palm back and slide the hand down on the back side of the body on the exhale. And then go ahead, if you went for it on the first side, full bind here. Nicely hooking onto the hand or fingertips, chest still turned and peeled up towards the sky here. And then start to bring the gaze down in front of the left toes, and then take a step or a few, right foot coming up towards the top of the mat, setting up for bird of paradise on this side. Go ahead and find that drishti, and then moving nice and slowly, mindfully, start to bring the torso up, start to bring the leg with you. But if again, you notice that there's a little straining in the breath, just backing off a little bit, knowing when to listen to your body. Chest still peeled, heart still open, firmly pushing through the right heel so the right leg is nice and long. And yeah, if you lengthen the right leg on the first side, lengthen the left leg here to any extent that doesn't compromise you in the spine. So notice that if you are reaching that left leg out, you're still staying nice and vertical in the spine, upright. You'll take one more breath, and then softly, slowly bring that left foot down, uninterlace the hook of the hands, forward fold. Let the head be heavy. Take an inhale, come up halfway, and then exhale to fold. Chair pose on the inhale, and then hands to prayer on the exhale. Stay here for a few breaths, sending weight into the heels, lifting the toes, spreading the toes, letting them land softly. And then go ahead, take one more inhale, lengthen out the spine, twisting to the left on the exhale. And then go ahead and bring that right tricep along the left side of the thigh, outer thigh. And then again, if you know that this is a good place for you to stay, please feel free to stay here. If you know that you're gonna give it a shot and come into side crow on the left side here, start to make your way down towards the floor with the hands. You'll come up onto the toes a little bit to bring the hips a little bit higher. You'll make that shelf with the triceps and the elbows, and then you'll start to look out towards the left, fingertips parallel with one another. Eyes and gaze looking out beyond the fingertips here. Hugging inwards with the midsection. Take one more inhale, and then feet land softly on the exhale. We'll all meet in chair pose with the hands in prayer. Sitting back into the heels, reach and circle the arms forwards and up on the inhale, and then fold on the exhale. At halfway lift, inhale. One more time, plant the hands, step or hop through it. Vinyasa, final one of this practice. Downward facing dog. Going to paradise might have been a little bit more sweatier than you expected. Right? Go ahead and take an inhale, reach that right leg up towards the sky, and then a pigeon pose, the right side here, threading it through. Taking your time to set up, making sure the left toes are pointed straight back. If you'd like to prop a block on the outer right hip, if you notice that that's far away from the floor, feel free to take that. And then you'll, with your breath, make your way down closer towards the floor. You might even just stay up on the hands and keeping the shoulders away from the ears. You might come down to the forearms. You might be able to relax the head down on the floor or make a nice little pillow there. You could also use a block to relax the forehead. We'll take a few breaths here. And then kind of back to that place where we were in that child's pose. Again, just refocusing on your breath, focusing again on slowing down the ratio of inhales to exhales. Starting to normalize and bring back your heart rate to a normal resting level. And take your last few breaths here. And then slowly start to make your way back up onto the hands. Straighten out the arms. And go ahead and tuck the left toes. Three-legged dog on the inhale. And then you'll just open up the hip and stack the right hip on top of the left on the exhale. If you have room to flip your dog and you would like to at home, feel free to take that just for a couple of breaths. Otherwise, we'll stay here with an open hip. You'll take one more inhale, reach that right leg up towards the sky, and then bring that right foot back down, downward facing dog. The other side, left leg's gonna lift on the inhale, and then start to shift it forwards and through pigeon pose on the left side, exhale. And take your time setting up the limbs first, and then start to use your breath to get the chest, maybe the upper body, a little bit closer towards the floor. And you've got some options with the arms and the hands here. If you notice that the head or the forehead's kind of drifting and hovering off of the floor, that's when you can make either stacked fists, you can stack hands, or you can slide that block underneath the forehead for some support. Go ahead and take a few breaths on this side. And take your last few breaths here. And then nice and slowly, you'll start to walk the hands back in, stacking them somewhat underneath the shoulders, straightening out the arms. And then you'll tuck the right toes, a three-legged dog on the inhale. opening up the hip on the exhale. If you flipped your dog on that first side, feel free to flip it here and kind of even things out. And go ahead and take one more inhale, lifting the left leg higher, and then downward facing dog on the exhale. Now take one more full deep breath in. Try to lengthen the spine through the tail. Soften the knees down to the floor on the exhale. And slowly start to crawl the knees ahead, and then you'll swing the legs left or right. You'll come into a seat onto your butt. And go ahead and reach the legs straight out ahead. We'll meet in staff pose. Dandasana, toes pointed up towards the sky. Legs together. You can bring the hands just outside the hips or come onto the fingertips, bringing the hands slightly behind the body, staying with an upright spine. And then very slowly, we're gonna come down onto the floor. So how we'll do so, with the legs straight out ahead of you, go ahead and bring the hands out in front of you alongside the body, alongside the legs. And then you're gonna go ahead and tuck the chin to the chest. We'll move down on a slow inhale. Take a full deep breath in. And then start to round in the lower back. Start to round in the mid back. Chin connected to the chest. And you'll try and make this as long as your exhale, all the way down onto the floor. Slight tuck of the tail. Softly bring in the lower back, the mid back, the shoulders, and then the back of the head. Once the back of the head comes down onto the floor, go ahead and hug and squeeze knees into chest. If you'd like to find a little bit of a rock side to side. We'll go ahead and take a second happy baby here. With the legs a little more warmed up, it might feel good to kind of straighten out the legs one at a time, or you can come into a splits. Just noticing how the backs of the legs, the hips are feeling now after about 45 minutes of moving. And then you'll slowly release that, hug and squeeze the knees back into the chest. Tell the legs thank you. Take a big inhale through the nose, squeeze a little bit harder, and then on the exhale, soften and release the legs down to the floor. Find a comfortable position for the arms. The arms are downside along the body. Always feels a little bit nice to have the palms up towards the sky. Just taking a moment to wrap and roll the shoulders down. Take up as much space as you have. Welcome to paradise, Shavasana. If you have more time to hang out and relax here, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, as always, lovely practicing with you, and we'll see you next time.